I'm here with Marc Fein, an esteemed member of the broadcast media industry. Thank you for being with me today, Marc. I appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you asking.
Yes, sir. So let's go ahead and get started off the bat. Why sports? So I know you got started in sports, but I just want to know why sports. What fueled your desire to get into the industry?
I always tell people I was a former wannabe athlete. I played a lot of sports growing up. I mean, that was my love, was being on the field, whatever field it was, football, basketball, baseball. I swam, I did gymnastics, I did everything. And then I got into high school and kept waiting to get bigger and taller, and it wasn't happening. So at some point I realized, all right, major college sports probably isn't going to happen for me. What else could I do? And realized I needed to start, obviously at that point in your life, you're thinking about a job. I also did some acting, some onstage stuff when I was in high school, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed speaking in front of people. And so I thought, maybe put those two things together, the comfort speaking in front of people and the love of sports, and that's how I wound up. And I started doing it right away in college, and immediately it took, and been doing it ever since. I had a little stint doing news as well, but yes, that turned into my career.
Absolutely. Well, tell me a little bit about your career, your journey, and what stops do you think benefited you the most?
Wow, they were all beneficial, all different. I started out doing minor league baseball play-by-play, then went and took a job in Pennsylvania, which is where my, at that point, soon-to-be wife lived. A small operation, wound up ultimately in Pennsylvania being the weekend sports anchor at Fox 43 in Harrisburg, which is a top 50 market. And that's really when I was like, okay, I might be able to actually feed my family doing this. From there I went to CNN. CNN came here. I was the weekend anchor in Dallas for Fox 4 for 2 years. Then I went from there to Turner Sports, and that was really, I would say, the crux of my sports broadcasting career was Turner Sports, where I got to do NBA, college football, a little college basketball, NASCAR, PGA, and really, enjoyed it. From there, I came here again, came back to DFW to be a news anchor at NBC5. I wanted to love what I did, working in the industry, I really did. I really enjoyed what I did. The big change was going from sports to news. And I had an agent who always kind of poked me about that. Like, I really think you'd be good at news. And I tell her, right place, right time, right place, right time. And when I did make the switch, it was kind of the right place, the right time. I had done sports for basically 20 years. There was the NBA strike going on. We weren't sure what was happening at Turner. And here came this opportunity to make that transition and to anchor news. And I did, my agent's point was, you have interests and intellect, she was nice enough to say, outside of just the sports industry. I think you'd be great at it. So that was the time to try it. And I was on air with NBC5 for about 8 years.
Well, a great career you had, 27 years. I know you've said before, long story career, but now you're a professor. So now you're teaching young broadcasters how to get into the industry. So what's been the best part for you of seeing students go from point A to point B? I mean, that's got to be special.
No, it really is. And I coached from a young age and really even thought about teaching from a young age. So it really was a natural fit for me. And when Phyllis Slocum came to me and said, would you be interested in teaching a class? I jumped at it. And I have really enjoyed it. And there's so much about it I enjoy. First of all, I'm not in television anymore. I work for my family's business, which is in education, ironically. So it scratches an itch for me there. It keeps me in tune with what is going on in the world of television, and it has changed dramatically. I mean, even in the 3 to 4 years that I have left the business, it's completely different than it was when I was in it. So I'm forced to, if I want to do a good job as a teacher, really keep up with what's going on. I mentioned at the beginning that performance was part of what I enjoyed and got me into sports broadcasting. Well, teaching is in part performing. You're standing in front of a classroom, in front of a group of people, trying to keep them awake. For me, for 3 hours on a Monday night, which isn't always easy. So, there is that performance aspect to it. And yeah, so, and then of course I do love sports. So now that I'm teaching a sports reporting class, it's something that I have an interest in as well.
Yeah, and definitely, like you say yourself, it's an ever-changing industry. Some would even say that it's kind of dying, so to speak. And I don't agree with that necessarily, but I wanted to ask you specifically, how do you feel about that? And what advice do you have for young broadcasters looking to make a jump to news and sports?
Right. Well, you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to adjust to what the industry does. And it's because, I don't have my phone on me, but I would pick that up. It's because of that little device that people can get everything instantaneously, so it changes. Now that said, there are now opportunities on that little device that didn't exist before. So you've got to be ready to adapt and adjust. Put people around you who are going to support you and who are going to encourage you and are going to be positive, because there's going to be a lot of negative. It's a tough business. So yeah, know what it is and then go after it with all your might.
Wow, what an awesome closing statement. Well, thank you so much for your time, Marc. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.